Hi, it's Sandy Wiley. Last week I've been very, very busy working 12-hour days on my new book about three psychologists. I have to be careful what I say on YouTube because now I'm monetized and they won't pay me. They're very restrictive, very highly, highly censored what you can say and what you can print to make money. So it has to really be like between a G and a PG rating. So I can't, a lot of my videos aren't making any money, even videos where I'm fully dressed, just because I say a three-letter word that isn't even a swear. I can't get into it, but they're really restrictive on YouTube. It's my life's mission. As all of you know, people who have been in my situation, who have been hurt. That's a very mild way to put it, but I have to be very careful what I say, like I said, because they're very restrictive here. Once you get paid, once you're part of the YouTube partner program. But it's very important to me to get my word across, just like Natalie Holloway's mother did after what happened to her. She wrote a book. Natalie Holloway's father wrote a book. So people deal with trauma in many ways. And Natalie Holloway's mother, not only did she write a book, but she gives lectures to high school students. So she speaks about, what happened and what she's learned from it and how to like help other people, other young girls not get into that situation by, obviously in her situation, by getting in a car with a boy she didn't know, right? And also getting drunk to get into a situation where she wasn't thinking clearly. Now, I'm the same way. I'm trying to promote, I'm trying to be a patient advocate is what I'm trying to do. And in this book, I graphically go into detail about how each one of these three psychologists, one is dead, the other two are alive, one from Harvard and one from Yale, how they severely hurt me. That's just putting it mildly, but I have to be careful what I say. And I can't even say the name of the book to you on this video because then they probably won't monetize it. But I'll put the link to the book below. Now, in the book, I talk about in great detail what happened to me, but I also say what, to look out for if you decide to go to therapy because you are in an extremely vulnerable state. I give you these warnings what to look out for. For instance, boundaries. The therapist should never touch you, okay? Even if you want to be touched. And the only exception is if you're upset, really upset about something, say your mother died or your sister died or you just found out you had cancer or something like that, and you ask them for a hug. In my eyes, it's okay for them to give you a quick hug, not hold you in their arms like a lover or like cradling a baby. It's okay to give a hug if a patient asks for it. Other than that, you should never touch a patient. You should never allow a patient to touch you in any way, shape, or form. Okay, I don't want to go into the details because I want this video to be widespread, and I want to be able to say what happened and to warn people about that. Also, your psychologist should not see anyone that you know. So, if you're going for individual therapy, your psychologist should not see your boyfriend or your best friend or anyone also as a patient. They should not see your boyfriend. If you're seeing them for individual therapy, they should not see you and your boyfriend for couples therapy, or you and your husband for marriage counseling, or anyone. if they're seeing you for individual therapy, they should see no one that you know. Nobody. Okay? Their only purpose is to help you, not help your marriage unless you go together as a couple to the therapist. If you start out for couples counseling together with your partner, that's okay. But then the couples therapist should never see either you or your partner alone. It doesn't work like that. And believe me, you'll be severely hurt if you do, if the therapist wants to do that. Never, ever allow that. Also, they should be consistent, not flip-flop all over the place. They should tell you from the beginning what the rules are, what they allow, and they should stay consistent. They shouldn't say, for instance, you know, you can email me, that's fine, and, you know, I'll write you back, and then they ignore you, you know. If they tell you in the beginning, these are my rules, okay? You can write me, but I will not write you back. They have to lay the ground rules in the beginning of the therapy, so you know what to expect. They should tell you what to do if they're not available when you call them in an emergency. That's extremely important. If you're going through a crisis, they shouldn't ignore you. You should have a resource. They should be there if you're in a crisis. They shouldn't leave you hanging. If they can't be there, then they should give you another resource to go to. They should never abandon you. They shouldn't unilaterally terminate the therapy. I go into all this detail in my book too, along with what each one of these 3 psychologists has done to me in graphic details that I can't say on YouTube. And these are details that I haven't said in other books that I wrote. And it comes all together in this book. And that's why I haven't been like putting up YouTube videos like in 4 or 5 days. The last time I did one, when was it? It was days and days ago, because basically I've been waking up like at 4 o'clock in the morning and working until 4:30 straight. I haven't left the house, you know. I've been working on this book straight through. It's very important to get this message out so people can see, because when you're vulnerable like me and you go to therapy for mental help to get better, it's very hard, you know, when someone is listening to you and telling you how special you are and how beautiful and intelligent you are. It's very difficult for you not to eat that up and to think that, you know, they want to, you know, hold you, they want to touch you, they want to put their arms around you. It's very hard to turn that down, that kind of affection, because in the beginning, that kind of affection doesn't seem like abuse. Like, you know, they're just holding you, they're just hugging you. That's not abuse, you know. That's what you think in the beginning. That's how it starts. It starts out innocently, right? Innocently. But then once they get you hooked, then it's already too late, because then you've already fallen, see? It's just like the fish in the water. Once it dangles the delicious bait, you know, and the fish grabs onto it and starts eating it. It's so good. It's so delicious. Then the hook's already in the mouth and they're hooked and they're dead. Too late, see? So this is what I want to warn people, you know, I want to warn people about. I want to let people know, like, my experience with these 3 psychologists. They're all doctors. They had all like 35, 40 plus years of experience. Like, they weren't new out of college, okay? These were older men from Yale and Harvard, you know, from Ivy League schools that, you know, have practiced like 30, 40 years. They weren't like, you know, fresh out of college from a no-name college. These were prestigious doctors that wrote books, that gave speeches throughout the country, who people know their name. One of them wrote a song for Rod Stewart. I mean, he was a professional musician who you know, went to parties in you know, Hollywood with Burt Bacharach. Yeah, he was friends with Burt Bacharach. I mean, these are not like, no name, no ones. These are professional men, and everyone thinks so highly of them. And who am I? I'm just a, borderline. I have borderline personality disorder. I have post-traumatic stress disorder. I have a severe anxiety disorder. I had agoraphobia. I was afraid to leave the house. I had severe depression. I'm just like a nutcase. I don't have no bachelor degree. I went to a community college, So, but it doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is, I want to educate people about this. Same like Natalie Holloway's mother wants to educate teenage girls about, you know, get going with people that they don't know. That's what happened. She, because of what she went through, her heartache, her suffering, she's coming on, and she wrote a book, and she's coming on TV because I've seen it, and she's talking about what happened to her daughter. She's informing other teenagers, learn from what happened to my daughter. I no longer have my daughter because she made these mistakes. Learn, like me. I made, horrible mistakes by, through these therapists. I kept going and going. I was hooked on therapy. And what happened was, I turned into an alcoholic and a lot of other things. If you read the book that I can't talk about here, I can't say, exactly what happened to me. But if you read the book, and I put a lot of effort into writing this because I want to educate people, not because I want to be like, what some people say, play the victim. I'm not playing the victim. I'm working on myself every day. I'm working hard on myself. I'm just trying to get a message across. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to alert people that about, the warning signs, because in the beginning, it just seems, sometimes it's very difficult, especially when you're in a very weak moment. When you go to therapy, you're in a very, you go to therapy because you need help, because you're in a bad, a bad spot mentally. So it's very easy, for these predators to take advantage of you because you're in a vulnerable spot. But if you know the laws, if you look into it, and I write all about with my lawyer, I give you detailed legal documentations about one of the psychologists, and about all the documentation about the lawsuit. I mean, I have not held anything back in this book. And, I've talked about one of the psychologist's wife, how she broke HIPAA. She broke HIPAA. If I had said anything, she would be in jail. You can't break HIPAA. You can't break. A psychologist is not supposed to break confidentiality unless the patient is going to hurt themselves or hurt someone else. Other than that, they just can't go on and say what you told them in confidence, even with their wife or their family. They can't do it. So there's a lot to be learned, and I hope that people purchase the book, and I will continue to fight valiantly for this cause, so that people will know, when they're vulnerable and they they try to find a psychologist, what is out there, what are the warning signs, what do you watch out for. What seems very innocent can turn into something illegal and something very damaging, and you don't know it until it's too late, And that's what I want to, inform people about, because I've lived through it, not once, not twice. I lived through it for almost 20 years. I lived through it with not one, two. I lived through it with several psychologists who did this, who were abusive to me, who ganged up on me, who were, who were cahoots together. It wasn't like they did it individually. You know, they were like in cahoots. So I'll leave the link, and I hope that you will purchase the book. It's $20 on Amazon, and I hope you support my cause. Okay, take care.